Our next speaker on landscape irrigation leading edge ideas is Brandon Briggs, president of aqua-lawn here in Moscow. Brandon is an Idahoan, grew up in southeast Idaho working on irrigated farms. He knows the issue of irrigation and water from personal family experience. When he got to be college age, he moved to Moscow, we're very fortunate to say, and was attracted here by the really outstanding landscape architecture program that we have. 15 years later, after graduation, he is, and in all those 15 years working in the private sector in residential and commercial irrigation systems, he's now president of aqua-lawn. He is an avid outdoorsman, a great family man. From everything I know about him, it would be wonderful to be one of his kids. And also one of his hobbies is raising cattle. Brandon Briggs.
Hi. Like he said, my name is Brandon Briggs, and I'm the president of aqua-lawn Incorporated. We're a local landscape company that specializes in highly efficient sprinkler systems and water conservation devices for your landscape. As Tom said, I'm a Rainbird Select contractor. I've been certified by the Irrigation Association as a certified landscape irrigation auditor. I'm also an EPA WaterSense partner. I graduated from the University of Idaho, where I studied landscape architecture and business. I've been installing sprinkler systems on the Palouse for 15 years. While a lot of people might think a sprinkler company in a water crisis, aren't they part of the problem? I actually like to think that we're part of the solution, and this is why. The average American family of 4 uses 400 gallons of water per day, and about 30% of that is devoted to outdoor uses. More than half of that outdoor water is used for watering lawns and gardens. Some experts estimate that more than 50% of the commercial and residential irrigation water use goes to waste due to evaporation, runoff, and overwatering. While encouraging low-water landscaping options like xeriscaping with drought-tolerant plants and hardscapes with rocks, bricks, and pavers to reduce water usage in our customers' yards, no matter how much you may or may not like it, people are still going to water their lawns. People enjoy the aesthetics of a nice green lawn. They also enjoy being able to use them for outdoor recreation. Some people even think of their lawn as a status symbol. But I personally think that there's more to it than that. I think to most people, a nice green lawn represents the American dream. On the cover of the magazines, do we see a family with a nice home, the white picket fence, and a brown lawn? Never. So it is my belief that no matter what is done by local municipalities, whether it be fee increases or water restrictions, people will water their lawns. And that is where I think my company fits into this equation. The first thing that we do at aqua-lawn is design our systems to be extremely efficient. Some simple ways that we do this are by making sure that we use the right sprinkler for the job, using pop-up sprays for small areas, gear-driven rotors for the larger areas, and drip irrigation wherever we can. Also by placing water only in desired areas, not watering over the top of sidewalks, hardscapes, or streets. Some more complicated things that we do with design are using 100% efficiency coverage. This means that if I'm designing a rectangle, I would have 6 sprinklers, 1 in each corner and 2 in the middle. A lot of other companies design in a triangular spacing pattern, using only 3 sprinklers. The reason they do this is because it uses less pipe and parts, which means more money for them, while still solving the problem of keeping your lawn green. The problem with this design theory is that you have to water 2 to 3 times longer, and it wastes water trying to keep the lawn green. With 100% efficiency coverage system, I can keep the same area green, but with 30 to 60% less water. Some other ways that we help to conserve water is by the products that we use. There are a lot of products out on the market today that can help when designing and installing efficient sprinkler systems. There is one company in particular that has the utmost concern about water conservation because they realized a long time ago that it directly affects their livelihood as a business. This company is Rainbird. Started in 1933, Rainbird has been helping people around the world to conserve water ever since. Rainbird is cutting edge as far as water conservation is concerned. They put more money in research and development back into their product line than all the other companies in the industry combined. And that is why we only use Rainbird irrigation components, because water conservation is also our #1 goal. Here are some examples of how we use their water conservation products. In the majority of Moscow and Pullman, we run into several different problems when designing sprinkler systems. One of these problems is high pressure. When too much pressure is pushed through the small orifice of a sprinkler nozzle, the water is turned into vapor. So instead of the water coming out in large droplets and cascading down onto your yard, how it's designed to do, it acts more like a pressure washer. So a lot of water is lost to evaporation or the wind drifting it onto hardscapes, roads, or sidewalks. In this situation, we use pressure-regulated sprinklers. This brings the head pressure down, making the water droplets larger, which makes them less susceptible to evaporation or wind drift. Also, using pressure-regulated sprinklers will help with water distribution because of equal pressure to every head on the station, giving you a more uniform coverage, which allows you to use even less water to keep your lawn green. By using this product, I can help a customer water for 1 minute less at 55 to 70 psi and 2 to 3 minutes less at 70 psi or higher. This may not seem like a lot, but in Moscow, I can save a customer and our aquifer 1,800 to 5,400 gallons per zone annually. In a 5-zone system, which is typical for a small lawn, I can save 9,000 to 27,000 gallons of water per watering season. In Pullman, this number is even higher because we are typically dealing with a larger water meter, which means more water flow. I can save a Pullman customer 11,250 to 33,750 gallons in a 5-zone system per watering season. These are some pretty astonishing numbers. Another product that we use every day are Rainbird SAM sprinkler heads. They're equipped with a rubber seal and a stronger spring. These heads are used to help avoid low head drain. Low head drain means that gravity is pushing the water out of the lines as it weeps through the sprinkler heads after the station has run and shut down. We use these sprinklers in all low-lying areas, so that when the system shuts down, all the water that is housed in the pipes stays trapped in the pipes. In a 7-station system, which is more typical for the Moscow-Pullman area than the 5-station system I used in my earlier example, we are housing about 47.6 gallons of water in the underground piping. If every time the system runs, this water drains out of the pipes because we're not using these SAM heads, the water is just wasted, and also creates problems like soggy wet spots or even worse, soil erosion. Once again, this number, 47.6 gallons, may seem like a small number. But when multiplied by a watering season, which is typically 5 months here on the Palouse, this works out to be 6,664 gallons of water per household annually, which still may not seem like a large number to some people. But when we look at it like 4,165 flushes of a toilet, or 266 10-minute showers, it seems a little bit more dramatic. Another product that we use a lot of is drip irrigation. This is by far the most efficient way to water your landscape plants. For those of you who are not familiar with drip irrigation, it is not a soaker hose. Drip is using individual emitters to water only desired plants. The water literally just drips out to the roots, so there is no water lost to evaporation or wind drift. Drip also runs at such a slow rate that there is little or no runoff, even on steep slopes. We use this in almost every system we install. I could go on and on about water conservation products, such as Rainbird's U-Series nozzles, which we use every day, to soil moisture sensors and weather-based smart controllers, which are upgrades that we can add to any system. If you'd like to know more information, please contact me at the conclusion this evening. If we use all these products together, along with correct design, we have found that we can really make a huge difference in water consumption. In one neighborhood in particular, we at aqua-lawn have installed 95% of the sprinkler systems. incorporating these design theories and products into almost every yard. In just this one neighborhood, we're saving each individual resident anywhere from 11,250 to 100,000 gallons of water per watering season. Multiply this by the 200 homes or so that are in this new part of Pullman, and you end up with literally tens of millions of gallons of water that we help conserve our aquifer annually. In conclusion, I understand that we are in a water crisis, and we are striving as a company to do everything that we can to help conserve our precious resource by designing and installing the most efficient sprinkler systems that can be designed to date, and educating our customers and the community on ways that they can help to conserve water in their landscapes. We strive to do our part. We also encourage watering in the early morning hours, just before the sunrise, and appropriate station run times to avoid overwatering. Also by educating people that they can use even less water to keep their lawn green by fertilizing. Something that is frustrating to me is the inequality between Moscow and Pullman's watering standards. While Moscow is in water restrictions, only allowing landscape watering between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., I see Pullman homeowners and businesses watering during the day, even with an automatic sprinkler system. I know from doing work on the University of Idaho campus that they are trying to do their part by requiring all of the products that I have discussed today. I urge both Moscow and Pullman municipalities to take these items into consideration when they're watering their parks, schools, playgrounds, and greenscapes, and to try to work these products into their engineering design specifications. Also, if you would like to try some of these products, I can set you up with a Rainbird representative who would gladly let you demo these and other products at no cost. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. I have business cards or brochures for future contact information. I would like to thank you all for your time, and especially thank the Palouse Basin Aquifer Committee for all the hard work they do, and Nicole Baker for asking me to speak. I know that I've learned a lot from attending these summits over the last 5 years, and with the education I receive here annually, I try as much as possible to share with the community when I'm giving estimates, consulting with businesses, or working in the community, so that we can help together to form a partnership to ensure future generations on the Palouse have enough water. Thank you.
Any questions for Brandon? I'm going to speak to him afterwards. I've got some concerns about my irrigation at home. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Brandon, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. First, I have to say I'm a Pullman resident. I share your concerns about that discrepancy, and I can say that in Pullman, people such as yourself who are in the business community are listened to, and I wish you good luck in helping educate everybody in Pullman on that issue. My question for you is, in your 15 years in this business, how, if at all, have your customers changed in their awareness and their desire to conserve water? I'm wondering, is it one of the first things they talk about? Do they talk, could you just talk a little bit about that? How has that changed, if it has, and how do you know that's changed?
Well, it hasn't really changed much that I've noticed in the last 15 years. There's definitely a dramatic difference between the two towns. People in Moscow are definitely more concerned. You notice a lot more brown lawns here in Moscow than you do in Pullman. So, I mean, really, I don't think that it's really changed over the last 15 years. I think that it's more the individual, and coming to things like this and just trying to educate people is really the only way that we can make them start asking those hard questions.
Hi. So I have kind of, I guess, like a different question for you. I think it's really interesting, like all the different things that you've been talking about and different ways to conserve water. But I'm also wondering if you, by chance, like encourage your customers or clients to possibly like look at the grass themselves, like in terms of like, I guess like more like properties of the grass, like how hardy it is, if it's like actually like really efficient or like the best kind of grass that could be in the area, or if you encourage them to maybe like sow in over time like a new variety or whatever kind of grass. I was
definitely
curious about that.
We purchased a hydro seeding company about 5 years ago. Since then, we're doing everything that we can to educate people on using fescues, which are lower water usage grasses, instead of bluegrasses. Like I said, it's hard to convince everybody because a fescue, it takes a long time and a lot of work to turn it into a beautiful lawn. And some people just aren't willing to take that time. But yeah, I do everything that I can when giving estimates to give people different options that they can use. We even have a low-grow grass that is completely drought tolerant that we can spray on a lawn. The winter rains will take care of all of the watering, and by next year there is no watering requirement at all. So,
All right, thank you.
mm-hmm.
Thank you. This is a gift from the Planning Committee.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. This has been an enlightening first session. In just a couple of moments, we're going to take a break, but I'd like to have Paul Kimmel share with you a few announcements and other insights, and then we'll have a half an hour. We'll be back here at 7 o'clock. There's food at the back, and please do remember, we've got the graffiti tables for you to share your thoughts about 2013 and where we need to be going. Paul?